The New England Patriots, winners of 3 straight, trying to make it 4 in a row against the Cleveland Browns when the Browns come to Foxborough on Sunday. Mike Debate, the host of our Locked On Patriots podcast, joins us again to break this one down. Mike, how did the Patriots get another win over Cleveland?
Well, this one's going to be a tough one, Sam. There's no question about it. Cleveland comes in with a stout defense in all 3 levels. They're third ranked in the league when it comes to run defense. This is a team that can get after the passer. They also have a pretty sound secondary. So this is not going to be an easy game for the New England Patriots. They're going to have to bring their A game. That means the run blocking, the pass protection is going to have to be spot on in order for them to be able to move the ball. They're going to have to be able to test the secondary a little bit, get these guys, the wide receivers, open a little, try to get open in the open field, and also they're going to have to utilize the short play action passing game if they want to be able to advance the ball. It all sounds pretty easy and elementary, but believe me, what Cleveland does on the field makes this very difficult, and that will continue to make things difficult for the Pats. This is going to be a tough one, but if they can get after Cleveland's defense, keep them on their heels, they definitely have a puncher's chance in this one.
And Mike, we've been talking about the offensive line and the running backs for the Patriots all season long. Some promising news potentially with Trent Brown returning to practice this week. Do you expect him, the ability or the odds of him playing on Sunday? Or if he's not in, do you trust the offensive line this week?
Well, I mean, that's really the million-dollar question when it comes to whether or not the Patriots are going to be able to stop the Browns' rush or be able to at least help to keep their run defense in check. With Trent Brown out there, there's no question about it. This team is much more solidified. Trent is such a massive offensive lineman, and he's very agile for a guy his size. So for him to be able to be out there, it's going to mean that the Patriots will have that force to be able to help stand up against the run and also in pass protection. Now, don't forget, Trent's been on the shelf since really, if you think about it, the first week of the season. He was placed on IR on October 9th, but he took 7 snaps in that initial game against Miami and then continued to be a healthy scratch week after week until the Patriots finally decided that they needed to put him on IR. He comes back, he may be a little bit rusty. So do the Patriots decide that they're going to go with a formula that's worked with them for the last few weeks? Michael Wayno at right tackle, Shaq Mason at right guard, Teddy Karras sliding into the left guard position, and of course Isaiah Wynn over at the left tackle position. That's been a pretty good combination for the Pats. If they have to go with that, I think it's enough to get it done. But without question, ultimately the Patriots would love to have Trent Brown back in the lineup for this game, especially the way Cleveland is built.
And Mike, Damien Harris is a guy we focused on ball security issues early on in the season. Now he's really showing some promise as being a number 1 running back, but he was not at practice for one of the days this week. What do you expect for his status come Sunday?
Well, Damien right now is a wild card. He did not participate in Wednesday's practice, listed on the report with a concussion, which means that he is in protocol, as is rookie Ramondre Stevenson. Now, the buzz around the team right now, Sam, is that Ramondre may have a shot to play. Not too many people are talking about Damien. Now, that does not mean that that can't change between now and Sunday. Continue to watch the practice fields, continue to take a look at the injury reports, and we'll see a little bit more as to whether or not these guys are clearing protocol and how they're going to be able to be out there. But neither Stevenson nor Harris were in practice yesterday. On Wednesday, it's going to be interesting to see if they're out there on Thursday. Obviously, Friday's report will be telltale when it comes to these guys.
And Mike, the Cleveland Browns have been really the focus of a lot of people in the past few weeks, obviously related to former star wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. But what is Bill Belichick and really everyone within the Patriots organization talking about this Browns team after a very impressive win over the Cincinnati Bengals a week ago?
Yeah, I mean, Bill Belichick was, again, effusive in his praise for the Cleveland Browns. And look, the Browns definitely deserve it. After all they went through with the Odell Beckham Jr. saga, and it was a lot, they were able to rebound and take it to a Bengals team that many had thought had turned the corner, a favorite in that division. And I think in a lot of ways, Sam, that was more impressive than even maybe what the Patriots did last week on the field against the Carolina Panthers. When you can take it to a team like that in your division and make a statement, that's something that really endears your fan base and also really has the critics take notice of what you can do. So when the Patriots take the field on Sunday, yeah, they're going to be contending with a team, like we said, that's solid in all three levels of the defense. But offensively, this team can move the ball as well. We know that they may have their difficulties with the running game. Kareem Hunt will not be activated from IR. He will not play in this game. Nick Chubb right now continues to remain on COVID protocol, as does their backup running back, Demetric Felton. If these guys can't run, they still have Dearness Johnson that is capable of giving them a great number of yards on the ground. He has been a very capable fill-in when Chubb hasn't been able to go, and he's looked great. This Cleveland offense can run the football, and they can make plays happen. On the from the passing game, Baker Mayfield is still a guy that can make things happen, even though he's got a shoulder injury, been banged up, not his best season, but Baker has definitely done a good amount to be able to get to that next level. And he utilizes two tight end sets as well as anyone in the NFL. Cleveland plays with three tight ends sometimes out there, whether it be Austin Hooper, whether it be Harrison Bryant, a lot of those guys, and David Njoku obviously as well. Those guys are able to get open and make things happen. They're adept blockers. It makes the Cleveland offense so potent and so versatile. So Patriots have their hands full on both sides of the ball this week, no question about it.
And Mike, you've been giving us insight for the past 10 weeks as it relates to this New England Patriots team. If we went back to week one, is this kind of a season you expected? It looks like Bill Belichick is having a little bit more fun in the locker room after these recent wins. Is this a season that you could have predicted, or has anything been exceeded your expectations?
Yeah, I mean, dare I say, Bill's actually having even a little more fun with the media this year, whether it be giving us the long history of the long snapper, or telling us that we portray things a certain way with a snarky smile. Bill Belichick is giving, I think, a little bit more emotion, maybe even a little bit more showing his hand this year than he has in years past. He's been more candid. Maybe that factors into the Patriots' resurgence. But ultimately, I think 5-4 through 9 games is a realistic expectation. When they started 1-2, 1-3, you started to wonder whether or not this team was going to crack 500, or whether or not they would be even in the thought for a playoff spot. Now here they are in the 7th seed right now. If the playoffs started today, and they're making a big time surge, and they have a real shot at the postseason. So they're going to continue to play a little bit on the loose side. They're going to continue to play with that emotion that you've seen. Guys like Matt Judon, Devon Godchow coming into this locker room have really helped to lighten the load, I think, there. But don't forget, there's still guys like Devin McCourty and like a Matthew Slater. They've played here for a number of years. They know what it takes to win. They're going to make sure to do their job and keep the focus on what it is that's winning one game at a time.
And luckily for us, there is a lot more Patriots football this year. And Mike Debate will be back every week to break down and preview the upcoming Patriots game. And you can listen to all of his thoughts and insight on the Locked On Patriots podcast.